So in terms of the process that we use for our product, first off, when we do things called pre-books, where we're pre-booking 6 to 8 months in advance for select items. You know, the 5 main seasons of the year: spring, fall, winter, holidays, and back to school. From there, also on top of that, we do a lot of special quick strikes, which are limited product, small runs, limited stuff that's not going to be everywhere. So we do quite a bit of that. And then we also do what's called in-stock orders. So for us, it's about figuring out how to mesh all three of those together to get, you know, the most product in the store and out of the store as quickly as possible. So we determine, depending on the types of SKUs that they are, whether or not we need to order a lot or a little in the long term. You know, sometimes now we're doing a lot of what's called chasing. So we find out if something is particularly popular, and then if so, we try to reorder it and reorder it while minimizing the amount of stock that we totally have on the wall. So we may sometimes lose an odd sale by not having too much, but in the end we play it safer by, you know, not having something that's going to tank on the wall and reducing our overall exposure as well. There's always risks in pre-booking, you know, especially when it's winter or like weather predictable in terms of you know, the winter coming. We don't know if it's going to snow early, snow late, you know, so we've just got to be super careful, and no different than the summer. You know, if it rains a ton in the spring, our sales are down and we don't want to be sitting on too much product. And then the process is, you know, pretty much getting it in the store, receiving it, putting it out as soon as possible, and posting it to social media. Okay, in terms of the quality management of the product process, at the end of the day, the product coming in definitely has to be reviewed, because we do get shipped a lot of defective product. You know, almost on every shipment, we're also missing items. You know, after a while of use, they could break down. So we definitely are checking every item as it comes in the door for quality of product. We want to make sure also, as we're selling consumers product, that the product is not defective as well. So a warped deck, you know, a damaged snowboard. When we sell these products, we want to ensure that the customer is fully aware, they're marked down, and so we don't see those products again or have someone try to re-warranty an item. The strategies that we use for the process of product for ourselves, you know, have to be fine-tuned all the time. As the markets are changing, the brands are becoming, you know, cool and then not cool, relevant and then not relevant. And we've always got to be monitoring every single item that's being ordered to ensure, you know, we're just not buying something that's just going to sit in the store. You know, we need to have things moving out the door. In terms of our human resources, it's pretty tight staffed here. You know, I decide pretty much everything there is to do with who's getting hired, and any disciplinary actions or people that need to be spoken to, or if the rules have not been followed, I pretty much do it all myself. You know, sometimes I ask opinions and just get outside sources of information, you know, just to ensure that I'm following proper protocol in terms of pay and so forth. But pretty much I take care of it myself. To train and modify the skills of the human resources department, which is myself, you know, I just always refer to my accountant to ensure that I am paying people properly for, you know, vacation days that should be paid. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I just resource with my accountant for most information that I need to do with human resources. Basically, our supply chain is made up of different suppliers and distributors all over the country. Quite a few of them are on the West Coast, some of them are in Toronto. Basically, they're shipping from everywhere. Some items actually you know, drop ship in from even China, depending on the size of the company and how large our orders are. But most of the supply is coming from suppliers and distributors within Canada themselves. There are a couple in the US as well that we use, but primarily Canadian goods are sold by Canadian distributors and suppliers. What kind of challenges you face? Some of the challenges that we face with the current supply chain is sometimes the lack of product. Nobody wants to get stuck with anything, so when we're trying to fine tune our orders, we got to ensure that you know, the supplier has stuff that we can still get. Sometimes the key styles will sell out super fast, so we're just working with what will work best for our store. So it's really first one there gets the best stock, and you just don't want to order until you sell it. So that's always a risk with the current process we have. In terms of production planning, we do our own product as well. So we also are making skateboards, hats, apparel, a few accessories, stickers. So there's definitely a planning process to ensure that it's dropped on the right day with the right advertising and marketing initiatives to ensure that, you know, it gets maximum impact for the customers to come in and purchase the product, and that's the main point at the end of the day. There's always a need to change the planning process sometimes, depending on what we learn from the past. So if we've given ourselves, if we know, say for example, that into the spring by a certain date we've sold a number of decks and we're doing smaller orders, we need to ensure that those orders are coming in frequent enough to meet the demand of the customer so we don't lose sales. For our inventory management, we hire a few people and we come in and we count every single code in the store, every last item, everywhere, and we account for that within our multi-post POS system, which then gives us a printout of any items that we're missing, and from there we start to investigate on why those items might not be lining up in the system. You know, was it an inputting error? Was it a theft issue? And you know, if we start to recognize certain issues, as an example, socks being stolen, we start to count those items on a more frequent basis to ensure that we're not losing a large profit just based on people coming back and hitting us time after time. The main challenges about inventory management that are the toughest is that our items are constantly changing. There's a lot of single items. There's quite a few SKUs in the store. I think we're up to code 36,000, although we don't have all those in store. We do have a lot of items, and so to count everything in the store, it takes some time. We've now changed our process and we're going to start doing more spot checks. So we're looking to identify certain issues with smaller items that we can count quickly and just constantly do it, as opposed to always doing a large scale full store inventory that, you know, mostly gets done once a year. I think that's it, buddy.
That's it?
Yeah. I hope I answered all the questions.
That's cool, yeah.
Sounds like it.